I feel like I haven't had issues with Puff. I don't like him like that. Like, I don't like things that he would do.
Right.
And make me uncomfortable.
So speaking of,
with Diageo, this
is grape vodka as well?
Because you a rich.
Is it
no,
grape?
no. Puffs is not even vodka.
Oh,
it's grapes.
No, I'm just saying to you, look.
yo, say Jackson like, that's why I get invited to Puff Party. No reason.
Listen.
He claims that being around Puff makes him uneasy. With a single jab, he dispels the myth around Cîroc. He then smirks at events that only serve to heighten the rumors. We're reenacting the Mogul War of the 1950s tonight. How a lawyer's declaration clarified everything. How the vodka war turned upside down. Where the animosity began. And why the jokes struck like business maneuvers. Hasty tea. The SR versus effing receipts is approaching. He doesn't approach things carefully. He simply states it. Additionally, there is a line with Puff. It's not a Twitter argument or a phony conflict, it's just an emotion. People think I'm unlikable, even though I haven't had any problems with Puff. Hate him in that way. For example, I don't like it when he does anything right. I feel uneasy about things. That delivery's performance is deficient in that regard. Without shouting, it's a barrier. You understand it's not about a single headline when you hear him trace it back. It has to do with the intersection of their lanes and the flow of energy from work to play. Like Puffy, this is also where I came from. He doesn't go into detail about the reason. He waits for the time to pass before he looks at the money. You can tell that this isn't fan gossip because of this. We refer to it as business mechanics. During another interview, the audience erupts, shouting, "I thought Sack was Diddy's." He corrects the notion in a dull, almost bored tone. But he doesn't brag or run to the news mill.
Almost bored tone.
yeah, I thought Cîroc was Diddy's.
Yeah,
Same here.
Well, he was getting paid a lot of money, babe. Like, a lot of money.
Perception is currency in this battle. Therefore, that matters. One form of power is the sense of ownership held by the general populace. The game and leverage are different if the reality is a collaboration with the huge. Dirt isn't being produced by 50. He is not acting like a monk in the temple of purity. He is not only watching the balloon burst but also teasing the brand story. He frames the Riff's house with a cheeky smile. It's both work-related and personal. Sometimes the heat is generated by the optics, a flyer, an invitation, or a joke that has greater impact than a caption. He seems to get the humor but is still not complying, which is why the Breakfast Club line about the parties works so well. That's why you were invited to the Puff Party. I'm just saying. Reading. Pay close attention. Chapter 1 establishes the structure. Puff. The second is a pragmatic evaluation of the S-ray concept. In the third, the quips are employed as weapons rather than decorations during a public character dance. We'll get he then makes a scathing and humorous reference to the receipts, suggesting that the brand dispute started as a schoolyard brawl and evolved into a quarterly report. The vodka argument moves from rumors to receipts in less than 30 seconds. This isn't Cirque. Rock boys are there for better informed, and the audience knows what he is serving. He doesn't hold back while the microphones are on and the bottles are in view. It's challenging to distinguish between trolling and business. Every move is identical. As he conveys his point, he maintains a light, almost light-hearted tone. Here, we have no surroundings. There's more to that 2-second laugh than a paragraph. This is not a brief for a lawsuit. This is a VOD check. Then, with a change in association that everyone in the room can see, he pulls the knife not with an essay. The Rock Boys are no longer there. They are pursuing you. He isn't reading a contract to you. The slogan is being transformed by him. Jokes, subtitles, and what you put on camera are all part of the branding struggle. He discusses the optics in even more length later in another series.
About the optics.
That's the Rock Boys no more. They said we bring in strictly Effen Vodka.
In the sense that only successful branding can be. It's petty. The language is not complicated. They have no justification for being. The room is aware of opposing viewpoints. Switches are understood by the crowd. And Puff is holding the grapes as he reveals the secret of the second bottle. It's a business lesson as well as a joke.
Vodka as well?
Because you a rich.
Is it grape?
No. Puffs is not even vodka.
Oh,
It's great.
Added to the final modification now. He was earning a respectable salary. A lot of money. The picture becomes more distinct. Puff is truly strong. Its created power is the 50s point. The kind that, if you know where the seams are, You can needle.
Stand where the seams are.
Yeah, I thought Cîroc was Diddy.
Yeah,
Same here.
Well, he was getting paid a lot of money, babe. Like a lot of money.
This chapter is great because it adheres to its idea. Lectures are not what he does. He's acting like a fool, and the message is communicated through the clowning. This isn't an S-ray. No. Sack boys. Effing hard. You knew what was going on even if there was no news release. In addition to a logo, you needed a laugh. But when the attorneys arrive, the fun ends. He'll figure out a sentence in a few minutes. A lawyer wrote the point at which public relations turned into open warfare. He says, he does more than simply apply a brand. He gives a character a needle, the mogul persona, the mysterious velvet rope, and the parties that spread rumors more quickly than news releases. There, he exerts pressure. But take note of his pushing. He lets the wild part be said by the room. In order to regulate the tone, he then walks it back.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him.
This is a classic exchange. Fuel is packed into the globe by the host. He accepts the challenge. He won't have the right to a designation that diverts attention from court cases. He will limit it to discomfort and humor, the same concern he had voiced before. It's positioning, not prudishness. Make sure the comedy is the message and that the jokes are out of the attorney's grasp. The theater is the next stage. The table provides information on that same run, which explains why this subject is always popular. It's memorable, funny, and perfect for memes. Whether you like it or not, it was made for the time.
We are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow.
Perception moves more quickly than facts because of phrases like those. A mogul competition turns into a cultural conflict when one outstanding moment is condensed into 100 captions. He can take part without shouting. All he needs to do is decide which times other people will observe. In this way, his ego play is subtle. Instead of using comedy as a sledgehammer, use it as a scalpel. A public charge that sounds like a message is more expensive than a public jab that appears to be a jest. The best tactic, if the scoreboard serves as the base, is to keep the base amused while you attack the competitor's aura. It is not an escape to laugh. This tactic has already proven to be effective. Observe how he consistently returns the discussion to the original subject. He still pricks the room with a 6-word fact, even when the audience is demanding scandal and the sense of ownership becomes oppressive. He sends it back to distribution and ensures that the bottle battles don't sound like blood feuds. He has no intention of winning an HR lecture. He is influencing the public's perception of the true authority. Of course, this strategy carries some risk. The optics can be against you if you play too near the line. He maintains a governor on the language as a result. Let the host skate in the direction of the cliff. As the panel becomes more intense, he can shift his focus, shrug, or say something more subdued. The outcome is identical. He gives the audience a video clip to support his argument that the opposing side is more image than substance, rather than making a statement that will be on a court docket. Thus, the equipment listed below is put together. Statements are made when jokes are insufficient. He can hear the tone change when attorneys are made to write paragraphs on brand damage. He can tell who wrote the letter even if the letterhead is missing. The promise made in a statement and the use of confrontational language are indicators of how someone will react to this. It isn't a PR buffer. That is a PR ruse in the courtroom. He describes that precise time in the next section. From the lawyer's written declaration and the reasons behind it, he discovered that the mogul dispute had moved from the party to the courts. When the language becomes more challenging, he can tell right away. Tone is data because he doesn't seek drama. Publicists mediate conflicts. They are polished by lawyers. Therefore, when a statement is delivered with teeth, it threatens repercussions and targets unseen enemies. He interprets it as a contract rather than a caption.
You felt like that was calculated.
The statement is something from, you can tell it was written by a lawyer. There's a point where it kind of gets aggressive. He says like you're gonna find out like how I'll handle this. And that's an attorney want to be combative with another attorney. That's not like the publicist wouldn't say this.
Right.
This chapter's secret lies in that. You can learn the distinction between PR and legal from just one clip. A publicist speaks quietly and optimistically to preserve perception. A lawyer uses precedent and threats to support their argument. The game evolves in tandem with the voice. Jokes turn into displays. Memes turn into proof of misunderstandings. Additionally, a minor brand infraction is reframed as harm. He makes his point without specifying who this is directed at. Anyone in the room can establish connections more quickly than a subpoena in a mogul competition this obvious. It is vital that he signal the escalation. The conflict has been profitable thus far. Each stunt gave the audience a lesson about ownership vs. endorsement, and memes sold seats, tension, and drinks. When the legal voice is involved, the question is not who is funnier but rather who can afford to look aggressive on paper. Here's the tell too. When the lawyer's tone is activated, he remains calm. He catalogs it. The bark is decoded by him. He doesn't care about a single penny, and you'll see how I manage it. How did it move? Has someone relocated his base? Does that change his doubts? Has the market been affected by this? The legal letter is merely another artifact if the response is negative. The performance continues. There is no change to the scoreboard. He is also aware of the increased dangers. Legal responses are evoked by legal terminology. It may freeze partnerships, chill sponsors, and turn any casual remark into a deposition. His approach bends without breaking as a result. Returning to the larger picture, be fact-ready, keep the humor going, and discredit the opposition while still appearing to be constructive. Since marketing stunts turn attention into sales, he prefers them to legal disputes in this billionaire war. You've just reprogrammed the brand story for free if you can make them giggle and discover that their favorite bottle is grape. You've transformed inventory into messaging if you can rearrange the seating in a club such that all the rum is pouring under a different label. Think on his cautious wording. It's a crucial term. It implies that he is not emotionally responding to the message. He is diagnosing it. A letter written in anger is not a good letter. A strategy tree is what it is. Ultimately, a brand team and a legal team decided on talking points, escalation channels, and attitude. After reading it, he chooses which lane to remain in order to avoid giving them the argument they are constructing. He will therefore reduce the play to its most basic elements. It has to do with leverage, and he will essentially say, if it's a lawyer speaking, then it's not about truth or clout. Furthermore, leverage is negotiated rather than used. As long as leverage continues to convert, he will continue to perform. Product moments, interviews, and stages. On paper, the message might seem loud. In the important room, he will be heard more loudly. This is the twist for a readership used to years of headlines. The more composed individual is usually perceived as more trustworthy. The middle ground is frequently won by a letter written with a frown and a joke delivered with a smirk. Winning the middle is crucial in the mogul lane. Casual buyers exist. Even when the resistance seems technical and perhaps hazardous, he appeals to them by speaking in a human voice and making his movements obvious. The power battles, the pranks that go from jest to market share, and the reasons why trolling in the 1950s is frequently a lucrative business strategy with a quarterly impact are then covered. He questions more than simply the realities of brands. He bends in certain ways. Without a single paragraph of public relations, a simple prop, a bottle in a frame, or a wink might completely change the plot of a play. In the bag bottle that came with it, I had a lump. The narrative goes like that. Everyone will be able to see who is in charge of the evening with only one background placement. He uses counter-optics to counter those optics. Not anger, not a statement, not a change of attitude. It had been gassed by Puffy. The best course of action is to gas it. There is no conspiracy. It's a balloon. And when you offer humor rather than anger, balloons pop more easily. As a result, the host's explanation of his approach comes across as marketing done with a brutal right hand rather than meat.
Beef's not just on, wax. Your beef aren't just on record. Like, you know how to take yours to social media. You buying tickets. You know what I'm saying? Like yours is just...
He sees every surface as a billboard, which makes him unique. The crowd's perspectives, the editing, the captions, and even a fleeting moment with a hookah and bottle in the background. There is a reason for the shenanigans. We learn from them who controls the story. Instead of hitting at air, you alter the atmosphere if your opponent's mystique is air. This explains why the jokes are land-like in style. A strong line generates 1,000 postings. A simple camera switch becomes a meme. Additionally, without a single lawyer becoming involved, the misconception is less likely to spread if everyone is on board. When he lets the audience laugh before making the link, he is doing it well. It also clarifies why, even in situations with high stakes, the tone remains constant. Are brought up, he can gasp and shrug when he sees a bottle move, a flyer, or an invitation list. He exposes the nozzle if the audience picks up on a flashy storyline. The training is successful if the audience has a sense of responsibility and he understands the optics that lead to your feelings. However, people also change when circumstances do. Whole crews, colleagues, and allies flock to the splash zone. The collateral comes next. Who is given a name, who is transferred, and how the orbit around Puff is included into the narrative. Names begin to flash around the orbit as the mobile struggle intensifies. He is not required to present a manifesto. The brief phrases that follow show how affiliations can cause conflict.
I won the fight is because, really, Frenchie's the DVD guy.
It goes beyond brand vs. brand, platforms, old film, who sent it, where it was delivered, and what was recorded are all included. He presents it without any gimmicks, receipts, or hearsay. It was actually recorded in French. The justifications for some links slant are explained in those few words. It's history, not a particular party or a caption. Whether or not they requested it, the individuals who handled the tape are implicated in the war when it is used as a weapon. Moreover, friendship isn't always the focus of the ally talk. Acceptance is crucial. By standing next to them, you are demonstrating who you validate on your platform. He acknowledged French as an artist, which is why. Beneath the humor is the invisible economy. Currency is acceptance. A myth can be constructed using a cosign. You can deflate it with a pullback. A stock ticker is the link between two names in a society where appearances dictate power. It all comes to a head in Puff's orbit. Because association enhances optics, his name is heard in these stories. At a hookah table, a bottle becomes a myth of possession. A beef results from a platform shift. Whether or not they desired a part, the recipients become actors in the story when the video is sent. The collateral is therefore more than just shouting. It's a diagram. You can see why different identities continue to emerge if you follow the origins of any issue or meme back to the person who created it, shared it, and accepted it. He's not yelling at them on those maps. He's letting you determine the boundaries as he scatters crumbs. Politics, optics, and equipment come last. Who comes close when campaigns begin? And what is meant by getting close? He captures the border that many fans overlook in a single line. Regarding the distinction between control and proximity, he is direct. Being close to the power does not equate to control, just like vodka.
Like rock the vote. Like Puff would get next to the campaign, but not actually running the campaign.
The sentence is composed of a ring of decoders. There are descriptions of 100 posters and photo opportunities. Stay away from the flag, project an air of impending doom, and let the audience guide you. Then he turns on the light. The not in charge comes next. He highlights the same branding strategy. A rumor in the air, a bottle in the frame. Similarly, he uses a brief phrase to break up the aura. He also takes the reasoning beyond politics. The public enjoys a story about a solitary genius, but he will contest the myth because it is part of the power struggle, even if it seems cruel.
Like Puffy wouldn't exist because he didn't write that.
This essay isn't academic. It's an optical correction. That place deserves light if a tale raises a titan for work that started there. Identify the group. Keep the product and the brand distinct. The myth and its force are immediately undermined when the viewer sees two columns rather than one. As a result, the party rule is reflected in the campaign rule and the bottle rule. Power is not the same as proximity. You can distinguish between the two if you have a solid understanding of optics. He will continue to instruct if you aren't. With succinct, snappy words that alter an audience's perceptions and emotions. He believes that every robbery ends the same way as the war. A measure, not a decision. Which one? His mouth was the only one that ever mattered. There are jokes, flyers, parties, bottles, and even letters from the law department. He'll be back with another count. Who arrives? This is why it doesn't sound frantic. The verdict is still the cornerstone even if the wording is legalized. If people continue to purchase tickets, recite the jokes, and observe in real time, the optics were flipped, but where it counted, nothing changed. That is the mogul struggle's cornerstone. He denies the myth. The balloon is then punctured by him. He turns the bottle over. Everyone in the room chuckles at him. Without saying a word, he adheres to the one line that counts. The throne is intact if the base is. Storms are merely weather as long as the throne remains intact. This Diddy story is therefore neither a summary of a trial nor a list of participants. It's a lesson in ownership versus optics, power dynamics, and how one person can alert a million people to problems. And he will act as usual if the myth becomes prominent once more. Smile and point to the issue. Put a deliberate stop to it. Just a scoreboard with no jury, no soft landing, and no handshakes. It is not possible to take a screenshot. No lights are on. The bus door closed. Next city. The bass is making a lot of noise. To put it mildly, the tactic is petty. Furthermore, because the public continues to correct the optics, the mogul battle continues to be profitable. A scathing quotation at a time.